welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll. And tonight, you guessed it, I'm joined by my very good friends. First of all, we have Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. We also have Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. And returning to the pod is Apple Zach's Zach Markham. After a week off, we gave him a little vacation.
I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, man, here for you. Glad to have you back, buddy. Big shout out to all of our listeners. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got a fun discussion on Andor tonight, episode 10.
Yeah,
that's cool.
10, wow.
And before we get into all that, how you guys doing?
Yeah, great, man. Star Wars has really proven that they can tell a freaking story.
Oh, yeah. It has been elite so far.
Elite.
Yeah, man, this series is, going into the series, I didn't have high expectations, but now, with the performance and everything, I'm with it, man. I'm sold. They bought me.
Yeah, we're in.
Indeed. Like I said, to all of our listeners, everybody who's watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast catcher, thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe wherever you are listening or watching. Again, whether it's YouTube, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, somewhere else, please hit that subscribe button. That helps us out a lot. And then also, we say it every week, but we want to continue to say it, is follow us on social media at Royal Geek Pod, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Follow us and, keep up to date with everything we got going on. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
It's important to follow us on those platforms, but... yeah, boys, I think it's time. Let's get into it. So, Andor episode 10, titled "One Way Out."
Nice.
You like how confident that was this time?
Man, you must be. You're doing something different, man. You got new shampoo?
No, I haven't had a new shampoo in a long time.
One way out. One way.
Yeah.
Hey, slow down over there. Spoiler warning. So here's your spoiler warning,
here it
ladies
is.
and gentlemen. What y'all think?
So we got the jailbreak.
Yes, we
did.
It was building.
Finally.
Yes, it was building, and we got it. And it was incredible. At first it didn't feel like they had a plan because the way the episode kicks off, it's almost immediately after the last scene. So they get back to their rooms, and the whole walk to the room, Andor's like, we gotta do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day. I'm like,
yes.
There's no way this is gonna be successful if they only have the next day.
I love the fact that everything, planned out just at the right time. Honestly, man, they were very lucky. It was a good call, for them to plan it, for that day. Yeah. But the things that they had to pull off, was being executed at the right time, and the intent that drove the intensity of the episode, throughout, and it just made for an awesome sequence of events.
Yeah, and it made a lot of sense too because they were bringing in a new guy, and they knew that everything was.
That poor dude got fried, didn't he?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he did.
Jeez, that guy doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's a casualty, but it worked for the rest of them.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to look. So, just for frame of reference for all of our listeners, this is the first podcast we're recording tonight. We also watched Black Panther last night, so there's just a lot going on right now, and in my head, I'm trying to remember everything. This episode was mostly the jailbreak, but I guess I was surprised even that they still went back and forth the other storylines, maybe more than I would have expected. So it's hard for me to keep track. I'm just being honest with you guys, so I'm gonna need y'all's help. But it was obviously really awesome. I didn't really know about the water. I didn't know exactly. I'm not smart enough with water. Electricity, in my head, I didn't think that would be good. No. I thought it would be worse for them.
Yeah, but the fact that they used the bathroom to flood the floor and then that short circuited the
I guess that's what
on the
happened.
floor. Yeah.
See, I don't even know if that was a part of their plan. I think what he was doing was he was trying to get something that he could wedge into the into the elevator. That's what he was working with.
Breaking the pipe off?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I kind of got the feeling that they were trying to get the water going.
Yeah, same. I don't think he thought that it would have short circuited the floor, but probably
as a distraction. Maybe?
Yeah, but be a distraction, or they couldn't press the button on the floor execution because of water being on the floor or something like that.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get the vibe that he was just going for the pipe. I feel like it was strategic that he was there.
Because they got pipes all over the place, right? They got all the different tools and all the different pieces that they're working on in the little
I guess.
factory.
Yeah.
But it looked like they were cutting on that for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, nonetheless, he did get the water going, and then the little walkway comes down, and then that's when they're like now, and then like dude, they're all throwing stuff at everybody, and the people were getting shot and killed. Like I feel like it was a necessary sacrifice for
A tough place for Andor to be. Like you got to get somebody to climb up there.
Yeah,
because they're just
someone has to be that guy. Yeah,
yeah, and there's a few people that tried it and couldn't get there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think at this point, in the episode and like where they were at, I feel like the speech that Andor gave, and that the manager and everything gave was pretty compelling in the sense where like you're gonna die here. So like, what's the point of dying today, or like, or
dying by them or dying by like your
Correct.
own way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, man. And Kino, Andy Serkis, he did a phenomenal job, man.
Oh, yes.
He has sneakily stole the show in these very few episodes that he's been in.
Yeah.
And his presence like commands the entire the set, the scenery. You always want to know what he's doing, the things that he says that you really want to grab onto and really just. I don't know. He just has that personality that you just want to follow the guy, and which obviously Andor capitalized on with him giving the speech to rile everybody up and coming up with the one way out slogan.
Yeah, and I think it was just like the fact he was also just in the right position, like a floor leader you're gonna listen to. Like they've kind of almost been programmed in a way to like believe that position actually holds some sort of a power in the prison, which it does, but it's also kind of a fabricated position. But he just kind of had the gravitas as a character, and at that position it lends himself to having that ability to be a person who gains control and can wield power. But yeah, it was some of the stuff on there was just it was crazy seeing this breakout, and you're just all these things coming together. And we had basically 3 full episodes on this prison, and we did, other than the fact that we saw them kind of sawing at the stuff, we had heard a couple little like glimpses of things like, oh, we can stop it like halfway up, but there's only so many of the guards on each level. But we really didn't know a whole lot about what the actual plan was, which was they played it so well, and the way that it went was just amazing, and it actually mirrors the actual robbery that they did too, where they spent basically 3 episodes on that as well, but you also didn't really know exactly what was going to happen in that either. So it was just really cool seeing. They gave you enough to where like there were inklings of what was going to happen, but it wasn't like they were Ocean 11ing it, where like they were giving you like everything.
Yeah, walking you through it.
Yeah, walking you through it. They just kind of let it kind of like fold out the way that it was going to happen, and you saw it, and it was great.
And a part of that is like on the floor, they seemed somehow, I don't know how they've communicated about this, they seem to have somewhat of a plan that everybody knew what to do.
Yeah.
But once they get up into like the armories and like the control room on their floor, you kind of felt like
what next? Right?
They didn't really know it there. They were just all, at one point they even, I don't know, some prisoners had some guns, killed some guys, and like they met others, like because they don't know the layout of this place. They don't know anything. They're just trying to escape.
They're just meeting up with other prisoners.
Yeah,
They're kind of all doing the same steps.
Do you love how the other floors like had a delayed reaction, like didn't really know what was going on?
Oh yeah. Especially when the water starts trickling down from that level to the next level. They're like, what's going on? Yeah. Oh gosh, man. So
good. It looks like their plan was this. Somebody went down to save the other floors, and help them get up, and then like their plan was just go up from there until they reach the surface.
Yeah.
And I love the fact the way they orchestrated this is that you didn't know what was going to happen next as a viewer.
Yeah.
And they're doing all this. It kept the intensity and the curiosity throughout the episode, and It's nothing happened like out of the ordinary. Like everything played just right in the right place, and they were able to get control of the armory. It seems like they had an armory for each floor. And they got to a point where all the floors were being unified to the point where the guards were actually hiding.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They were,
seeing
scared
them
to come out. Yeah.
it's behind the door, just stay low, hide,
yeah,
and
right,
don't let them see
dude.
you. They're gonna murder you. Or
Yeah,
something
dude.
that.
They knew if they were gonna go out or anything, they were gonna get killed. And then once they got to the surface and everybody's jumping ship and everything, I don't know, man. It was just such a climaxing moment.
You know what's really funny about those little armories they have is that's a lot of guns for a very short-staffed
Oh
prison.
yeah.
You know, if there's never more than 12 on a floor, those are
Why do you need that many?
those
guns?
armies.
Yeah.
There's tons of guns in there.
And when Kino's giving his speech and he drops the line there's 5,000 of us and only a handful of
Gosh,
them.
that's
yeah. Everyone,
5,000.
yeah, everyone was like, "Let's freaking go!"
Yeah.
man. And then that was really what sparked everybody to raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the coolest things that they've done in this is getting back to what Markin was saying is when the guards were hiding. And I think that's an interesting way of a little bit of a side thing that they're showing is that the fact that the Empire isn't just made up of these faceless, evil people. It's also just randos. They're just people that are just working not everybody that is working for this are these evil people or maybe they may be sort of evil. Who knows what Deirdre is, whatever she's doing, but it's in a lot of ways she's doing it because she's trying to get herself she's basically just trying to go up the corporate ladder in a lot of ways. So it's really interesting seeing, these moments where the guards are hiding or these people are it's the inner squabblings of a mid-major company in a lot of ways, or as you're trying to jockey for position for yourself, and then it isn't this overarching organization in a lot of ways that has this one pointed direction. It is made up of people who are trying to better themselves. They're trying to survive through the day, survive through whatever shift this random guard might be going through. This might be this thing where he works there for 6 months and then gets to go home for 6 months. So for him, it's I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to risk my life to, stop these people who are trying to get out, So it's an interesting idea that thinking about if they really were as evil and as, awful as they would probably have stood up and just started just gunning down some of the prisoners. But in other ways, it kind of just shows maybe they're just cowards. When they have the gun, they're willing to stick it in your stomach and shock you. But when you're on even footing, they're cowards. They don't want to face up.
Yeah, man. I mean, they were probably just normal citizens. Probably found that job on Galaxy Recruiter. Saw that they had a good back to insurance, and just went from there, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was, man. Oh gosh, but the final scene of the prison breaks when they're all jumping into the water, and Andor and Kino are kind of right there, and Kino drops the freaking line, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, this sucks so bad to hear this, but Kino's like, I can't swim.
Which is just it's a crazy line because at that moment it was the complete solidification of everything we thought we knew about Kino. Because of the fact that it's everything that we had thought of up to this point was based around the idea that he was trying to get everybody home, not just himself. He was trying to get all these other men home. And when he saw that the Empire had betrayed them and that they weren't actually going to go home, even though I'm sure in some way he knew, because he, when he first came in, he probably saw that there was water all around and that that there was no other way out but the water. So in his mind, he probably knew the entire time that once he got to that point that he was not going to be able to go any further. So he understood that this breakout was not for him. It was for all the other men in the prison. Wow. So everything that he was sacrificing for the other men. He was not sacrificing for himself.
See, I didn't even think about that, but the fact that you're saying that, it just means so much more now about what Kino.
Are we
was
sure
able to
that he
lead.
was knew about the water though?
Well, everybody came in on the ship.
On a ship?
Yeah.
And you saw.
with no windows, or were there windows?
Well, no,
on it?
it's just when they docked, the dock was open behind them, so all you
like,
saw was nothing
when
but
he
water.
came in, you could tell where
Yeah.
you were coming in, and
'Cause
you
remember-
had to. I think you had to have at least somewhat known.
Remember when Andor got dropped off, the ship left, and they looked behind them, and it was just nothing but empty.
No,
empty.
I don't remember that,
Empty
but I trust you
skies
guys.
and water. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
And and for a second, during that scene, like I knew Andor was gonna like grab him and like push him into the water, but then like he got pushed off before he could do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
picked up on that, but like it
I
sucks.
feel like he was trying to get to him. So
here's the
Yeah.
question: did Kino jump, or did he not jump?
I don't think he jumps.
I don't think,
I don't think he did
jumped either. Yeah.
No.
I've got no idea. So.
Yeah. All right, so I want to go ahead and transition here to Luthen because we find out who the mole is. We find out
Yes.
who the inside man is for the Empire.
It's not Dedra.
It's not Dedra.
Yeah,
It's-
I think at this point it was kind of we were all like thirsting because we knew that there was gonna be someone. Like I think we all could just tell, and we were just trying to figure out who it might be. But we were all thinking there has to be someone inside this major organization. The way they're playing it out, the way that the knowledge that Luthen has, the way the knowledge that these other people have, there has to be somebody. And of course, in this episode, we do find out.
yeah, and it's the man working close with Dedra. And,
Yes.
Yeah, what's his name?
I don't even freaking know, man.
Mustache guy.
Mustache
Yes.
guy. Yes.
It's like
yes.
Looney or something, or Leroy. It started with an L. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you are.
Lonnie. It was Lonnie.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Oh yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Lottie.
Yeah, it was long.
Look at
You
you
guys
go,
are awful,
man.
man. Did you guys watch this show or what? Am I the only one that watched it?
No, you didn't even watch it. No, you did.
Is it Lonnie though? For real?
I think you're right though. Yeah.
I think Shimato's checking. I think
Yeah.
it is that.
But anyway, so he contacts Luthen, tries to warn him about Dedra being on his tail and doing a fake Empire move that will kind of lure everybody out. And
Lord
Luthen's
Krieger,
like,
Krieger,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. And Luthen's like, let it happen. The sacrifice is necessary. And then the conversation they have shortly after this, where they are talking about sacrifice. And he's saying that he has a family now. Lonnie saying that he has a family now, and it's a lot harder to keep going every day and living this double lifestyle. And then Luthen just like drops a freaking hammer on the guy, and he is like
Monologue.
Yeah, he's like, sacrifice. You want to talk about sacrifice? And he goes in on him. And by the end of that, you were like, Luthen he's next level because he's in it. He lives it, he breathes it, and he understands the greater picture and the cause of the rebellion and what it can be.
Yeah.
And Lonnie is playing a role that he needs to man up.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I kind of thought that he was going to knock off Lonnie when it sounded like Lonnie was like starting to back out. I felt like he was just knock him off right there. But then he could delve more into like the whole how important this person is and all the sacrifices that would have to happen. That sacrificing these other people are way more important than you. You are way less important than you. Like Lonnie was such an integral part of everything that the rebellion is doing because of the fact that he's been able to get to that position.
Yeah, not only that, man, it's just like Luthen, he's already, accepted his fate. And so that's what made that speech so compelling is like, he wasn't like trying to sell something to Lonnie, like he was telling him, what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, by the time he gets done with the speech and everything, like he's like, you're going to be a hero, Lonnie. And then he like closes the elevators and sends him back up.
There's no question.
Yeah.
dude.
He didn't give him like another option or
Yeah,
anything. He
no.
said, no, this is why I need you. So go report back.
Yeah. Oh, geez, man. So that was a very, very intense scene, and I think the visuals of that scene was incredible. Like this weird little like canopy alleyway type thing, with all the piping and everything around them. It was a really good scene, and the dialogue was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the writing for the show has been like next tier.
Oh,
Yeah, phenomenal.
Definitely in like the slums of the city that they're in
Right.
too.
Yeah.
So
And I love that about Star Wars, man. Is like they do that a lot with their series. They did it in Obi-Wan and everything. Where it's just like it shows a portion of the city that's just so intriguing.
Yeah. Just,
You know,
so
just-
dilapidated. So
Yeah, like neon lights, illegal activity going
Yeah.
on.
looks
you
like
know.
cyberpunk.
Yeah,
it
man.
does,
Yeah, like just the cyberpunk feel. Nobody has like a credit score. That's like higher than
Yeah.
400.
Yeah, you could definitely find like a tattoo parlor there somewhere, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do.
like
Star Wars just does a great job of showing the juxtaposition of like the amazingness of some of like the like landscapes that you see, and then the space shots and the luxury that you'll see, and then you'll see these moments where you see these just beat down areas. It's just crazy. Like going back to Cassian on Miami Beach.
Yeah, man. Like you're just seeing Jawas with neck tattoos. Like
Yeah.
it's just like what's going on here?
And then you see all this crazy. The visuals are just always so striking and so different. And I think it's one of the great ways that they build the universe is that you see these just vastly different types of scenes where you see even just in this episode you see the stark white areas of the Empire. Then you see the slums, and then you see the vast openness of the ocean from when they're getting out of the prison,
Right.
and then you see the grand upper crustiness that is the Mon Mothma household.
Yeah.
So you just see these different. They're like a character of their own in a lot of ways, and they kind of create situations in their own right that that make them feel different.
Yeah, and I mean, you brought up Mon Mothma, and she had a meeting with the banker and this dude. I don't know if you got the name on that guy. I don't know, you over there, Shmato. But anyway,
hold on, let me channel.
But anyway, so
Roy.
No, anyway.
You got it, man. That's it.
Is it really? I don't know.
No,
Anyway,
no.
So they're having a conversation, and she is listening to his pitch, right? And after the pitch is done, she's like, what's going to cost me? What is it going to cost me? And he's like, it's not going to cost you anything financially. And she's like, well, what is it? It has to be something.
You could tell this guy had something up his sleeve.
Yeah, it's got to be something. And he's like, well, I just want an introduction of my son, who's around the same age as your daughter. And,
big deal.
Yeah, and it's funny because they talked about traditions or the start of the conversation, and he was trying to play into that, the fact that her comment about traditions, like, yeah, she's a part of the tradition with her marriage with her husband.
Yeah.
And so then he tried to lead in with his son, trying to meet the daughter, and then she was like, get out now. And then
she was not having it.
Yeah, she was not, and she said, you can think. He's like, you can think about it. She's like, I will not. And he said, well, that's the first lie you told all day.
Yeah, that was awesome. What a line.
Oh man, it was good. It was a very intense scene. Once she realized that her daughter was gonna have to play a role in this whole entire situation. Very, very interesting. The fact that she is considering it. She's going to consider it because the daughter has definitely played a large part in her humanity and in where she's going to stand with the cause and how it's going to affect her family and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Like, is she going to let her daughter in on the fact that she is working with the rebellion and be like, hey, this is how you can help the rebellion? Or is she going to further alienate and cut out some of her own humanity and just give her daughter away without letting her know that this is the situation that it's under? Because I feel like that would be the ultimate extra knife jab in their relationship. Their relationship is already at a razor thin point. And this would just be the final straw of just the inhumanity of this business deal, probably from her daughter's point of view. If she were just to be like, yeah, we needed some banking help, so you're now married to this dude.
Yeah. To be honest with you, man, I think she's going to end up, cutting out, a portion of her humanity just with the fact that, the relationship with, her and her daughter, obviously her daughter is, closer, with the dad. In this sense, the dad can't be trusted. And I feel like this series is just doing a really good job playing, the dark portions of the rebellion and what everyone had to sacrifice, what everyone had to give up, and the amount of dirt or blood, that is on, people's hands, building this rebellion. So And you're right. She was considering it, and they did a very good job, portraying that. And like, I think it is going to be a decision that she is going to go for, for the fate of the rebellion and for the rebellion, to succeed and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to, eventually ruin, I feel like the relationship of her family and everything.
Yeah. And I think it was cool seeing the fact that I think it was important that they didn't have her protest beyond that point of, well, that's the first lie you said today. And like they didn't show anything past that. And it was that moment of like, it was that moment like, hey, he's called my bluff. Like that moment, or he sees into my mind a little bit. Maybe I'm not 100% bluffing, but I am definitely not 100% against this idea.
And it kind of shows that they're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
As well. So man,
Yeah.
that was also good dialogue there too, man. Like, I mean, this show doesn't miss.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. And then another small portion of this episode is Ferrix and what's going on over there.
Yeah.
With Andor's mom, talking about the tunnels or caverns, right? That was
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. How is that going to play into the last two episodes? That's got to play into something, right?
I mean, I think that's definitely a possibility where there's something like, happen there. They've alluded to it enough to where you're like, okay, maybe there's something there. Maybe something will happen on Ferrix where maybe there'll be, I could see there being like a massacre and like maybe, that's like the last line for Andor is where they maybe some rebel forces with his mother included, go to the tunnels to do some sort of a rebel activity and they get knocked off, and that's the thing that just kind of pushes Andor, and he's like, okay, like I've lost all my connections. I need to be all in on this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taken so much from him already. So
I agree with you 100%. I think what's going to end up happening is he's going to find a way, to get back to Ferrix, and he's going to get there, and then like, Bix, his friends, his mom, they're all going to be gone, and then like some sort of massacre. And it could even be like, a trap sprung where he will end up getting captured and Luthen will have to save him. And, that's his transition into, being what, we know him to be in Rogue One and everything.
Yeah, I could see his mom sacrificing herself for the rebellion in some sort of way, or sacrificing herself for Cassian to escape to be a part of the rebellion or something along those lines.
Yep.
Playing out like maybe she like implodes the tunnel like he gets out and then she like implodes the tunnel type of moment, trapping a whole bunch of, Imperial forces down there with her or something like that.
I'm really excited to see the Empire's, and especially the ISB, like their reaction to the prison break.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to see what's said about that.
Yeah, and they're gonna play into the web is real, like the Aldani heist is connected to all this stuff that's going on. They're probably gonna start putting some connections together.
Even though it really isn't, like it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, but the Empire hasn't faced anything like coordinated stuff.
Yeah.
And to have a massive prison break just weeks, months after the Aldani?
Yeah, I think it's a month after Aldani.
I mean, I think the most interesting thing is going to be like, okay, so how are they going to get off of where they're at? Like that is I mean, it's obviously a prison planet that I'm sure the Imperials control just about every ounce of traffic to that place. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get off. They have... It didn't seem like they have any sort of transportation in any sort of way. When they did like the wide shots, it kind of looked like in a lot of ways that it was just a bunch of these very similar prison pods that were going on.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like, so I don't know what's going to happen. Is this going to be one of those? Is it going to be even bigger? Is it like, oh, this is 5,000, and then there's another one with 5,000? Like, so all of a sudden it's a rebellion of, maybe this is literally the birth of the rebellion in the sense that all these people end up being the ground soldiers that are the rebellion in a lot of ways, like almost an instant army, that you have of these prisoners who have been neglected by the Empire for so long,
Yeah.
It does make you wonder what's going to happen when the Empire's going to show up. And the last thing we see is Andor and
Melshi, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some other guy.
Some other guy. He's from Rogue One.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. So yeah, they're like running, and I don't know if there was there already something chasing them, or was that just like the moons or something?
It looked like they had like some sort of like
TIE fighters or something? Or
not TIE fighters,
like
but
a
maybe
hover
like,
or something.
It was like a search
droid,
craft,
yeah.
search craft
Yeah.
or something like that. Something searching
But-
for the prisoners. And
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's going to be like they get surrounded and they fight their way out, and then they finally come across some sort of spacecraft, and that's how they're able to get off the planet. I guess, like I don't know, some sort of like classic Star Wars rebellion. Type
We're gonna
thing.
get the storylines all intertwining.
Oh, yeah,
these
probably.
final 2 episodes, and I mean, honestly, I trust whatever happens in the next 2 episodes. I don't see this flopping. I don't see this pulling a Marvel and not landing and sticking the episode.
Not landing the finale.
Yeah, finale. So I'm very excited to see where we go in the final 2 episodes, and I really, really want to just see more of Andor's transition into where we see him in Rogue One. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for what's next, man. I really am.
I think it's gonna be really. It's gonna be crazy to see how much further they push in his storyline in these last 2 episodes, because they've shown a willingness to drag things out, and not in a bad way, but like to lengthen things out. Like,
And all serves a purpose. Like we're
yes,
getting
yes.
it. We're getting a
Oh yeah,
quality story.
we're getting a lot of good story and stuff like that. Maybe dragged out was not the best terminology
It
to use
wasn't.
there.
So yeah, just
But
stop.
but they've shown the ability to be let's say be patient with their storylines. Like it took them 2+ episodes to break out of the prison. It took them 2+ episodes to do the robbery. So they've shown a patience to let things play out, to have moments of stress, to have moments that you are learning more about a character. So I mean, I could see like a good chance that part of what is the entire next episode for Andor is just him in the area that he's at, and he doesn't get off the planet, possibly even in that entire episode.
It's just planning to get off.
Yeah, like or just trying to survive. Maybe they're constantly dodging whatever droid is or drone is following them.
Or there's like animals they got to deal with on this planet or something.
Becomes a survival
Rough
show.
terrain. Yeah, who
Yeah,
knows,
almost
man?
like
Yeah, why not?
I could see it like it's something to where they're they have to survive in some sort of sense for a little while, and part of the episode is that, and then maybe some of it's pushing the other 2 main storylines along a little bit more with what's happening with Mon Mothma and what's happening with Luthen. So those storylines kind of pushing them to catch up to whatever is happening there.
No doubt.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job as far as like, having different storylines, but still keep it interesting, per storyline and everything. It's something that you don't really see in like the other Star Wars series that they've done, such as like Mandalorian or Boba Fett or anything like that. Not necessarily saying that those, shows are bad, but with this, they're giving us extra episodes. They're taking more time to build the foundation.
Yeah.
And at the same time, giving us different, point of views as far as like what's going on with different storylines, and then like how it's all going to come to a climax and intertwine within each other. And I feel like that's what keeps it, interesting for, viewers and, hardcore Star Wars fans like myself, where we're able, to see all this and, how it affects, what's going on.
Universe building.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what if the security drone that is there is literally just to get a photo of the people that escaped, so that we've seen the way their media works, and then it pushes out this image of Melshi and Cassian, and then there's almost like this race by Deirdre, maybe, and maybe she employs the slick-haired guy to go along with her and kind of like manipulates him, maybe Liv to come get her, and he's like, "This is your chance. This is your chance."
I don't think she's gonna have to manipulate Cyril.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no way.
she probably won't have to do all
all
that
in with
manipulation.
Dedra.
But then it always turns into like this race, and then Luthen maybe sees the photo too, and maybe there's like this 3-pronged thing where Deirdre is searching and Luthen is searching, and then you have Vel coming as well. Maybe to this this head where they all end up like coming and converging, and all the storylines are kind of converging on Andor on Narkina 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just explained like professional wrestling, which is like all the storylines coming together and some big event,
Yeah, there you go. Tune in next week.
Cool.
For
So
WrestleMania,
now that I mentioned
Star Wars
professional
edition.
wrestling, let's go ahead and shut the pod off.
There you go.
Big shout out to all of our listeners, everyone who tuned in. If you're watching on YouTube, we want to encourage you to hit subscribe, whether you're on YouTube or if you're listening on Apple, listening on Spotify, listening on Google. Hit subscribe so that you get all of our content when it comes out. Also, follow us on social media at Royal Geek Pod. Please stay up to date with everything we got going on. And come on back. We got a lot of content to cover in the next few months. We're in November. The end of the year is upon us, and what that means is a lot more stuff to cover. So please come back. And with that in mind, for my good friends Sandy, Shamato, and Apple Zax, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.